Ms. Eric, I think we can get started,
Okay.
right? Awesome. Over
Pardon?
to you.
Yes. Okay.
Awesome.
So, hello everyone. You are all welcome to this amazing session. Actually, this podcast is very unique. It's not like any other one, right? So, like we were saying earlier on, one unique thing about this particular podcast is that for the past one that we've had, it's all about maybe getting into a particular skill or getting into a particular career, or maybe trying to network and all of that. But at the end of the day, when you're chasing these skills, when you are learning a particular tool, you need to define yourself. You're always in a group when you're learning. You're always within a community. But when it comes to facing the reality, right, you are alone. no one is behind you. Yes, that's when you defend yourself. You're alone. And I think that's why we're organizing this amazing session, amazing podcast. It's very unique. And I think that everybody in any domain, it doesn't only relate to the tech space actually, because there are things that we're going to learn here that can also relate to other fields as well. So without any much ado, Kevin, I would like our speakers, our panelists. I know they are very amazing. And one thing I realized about our panelists is that they have quite a broad experience. That's one unique thing. None of them is a newbie. None of them is a newbie, right? And it's not only the experts, but people who can be able to recruit. People who are also recruiting, like Jen, right? Jen, it will be amazing to hear from you. Those skills, what is it that behind that, when we are coming to talk to you about our skills, what should we have in mind? What are you trying to judge? What's going in your head, right? Are you evaluating us? Yeah, so we'll be happy to hear from you, Jen. Ebanga will also be excited to hear from you. A lot of us here, they are from the DevOps space, tech space, and it will be exciting to hear from you as well. So Emmanuel, the master DevOps engineer, and then he also cuts across, not only DevOps engineer, but he cuts across the green, using green technology, green, he's also advocating for use of sustainable technological tools to promote and sustain the environment, biodiversity, and all of that. So everyone on the panelists, they are well endowed with a lot of knowledge. So I would like straight away we'll go with the introduction. Ladies before gentlemen, right? Yeah. So with me, I have Ebanga. Yes, you are right. Top. Just I made them below. I'll come down to Jen and then Emmanuel. That's how the order is on my side. So Ebanga, we are excited to have you on this podcast. Thank you. The floor is yours. Can you introduce yourself? Okay, why Ebanga is trying to set up her system. So we want to welcome everyone who is just joining. Just feel free. Just relax. This is not it's not a training session, guys. It's not a training session, so don't feel tense. Don't feel that I'm going to ask you a question. Eh? Yes. There will no questioning here. Just feel relaxed. You can have a glass of water, get some coffee. Why not? Even to sip some wine if you can. Yes.
I love that. I love that.
Yes. Awesome. Jen is also doing a great job there. So
yeah.
Great. Guys, just relax while our panelist is setting up her system. Okay, while she's setting up her system, Jen, you already been chilling with some tea. We don't know if it's coffee or tea, but there's something in the bottle, in the glass, in the cup there, right? Maybe you will reveal to us. Okay, Jen, can take over.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here with the techies. It's not every other time. As a HR practitioner, you find yourself hanging out with the techies. It's very exciting. My name is Gikonyo. I'm taking this call from Nairobi, Kenya. A career analyst. I like to analyze careers, but most importantly, I like to coach people to discover what kind of talents they have. We're in a world that is skill-based. It's not about just about your tech, it's about what value you bring to the table. Over and above that, I'm a HR practitioner for many years. So most of the time I'll be behind the desk and looking at people coming into the interview room and seeing who presents their case the best way forward. And today I'd like to share some of the insights, my experiences, where I've seen people lose great opportunities, not because they are technically, not because they're not good technically. Maybe they're A student, first class, but because of just how they presented themselves. And there's an opportunity because we're in a very competitive world. And so how do you ensure you show up for your game and you show up for your craft? So super excited to be here and to also share knowledge with everybody else on this call. Thank you very much.
Awesome, Jen. That's super exciting. We can't wait to hear how you're going to, pour those tricks and strategies on us. Yes, those are really tricks. They're tricks. There's nothing in it, right? It's a trick. An interview is, it's all about knowing the tricks. Right. Yes, you can have the skills, you can be so knowledgeable, but if you don't know those tricks, you are going to miss it. Thank you so much, Jen. We're excited to have you. Okay, EBANGHA is back. Welcome back. We're excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, Eric. Sorry, I had some small technical error. So, Jane, thank you. That was a nice one. I'm very, very honored and privileged to join beautiful women, handsome men today. I feel very, very honored. My name is 𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗃. I'm from Cameroon. I live now in New York. I'm a senior cloud engineer. I'm also a DevOps engineer in my space. So that's what I do. But I'm also a DevOps coach and mentor. Yeah, I also help with resume review, LinkedIn automation. Yeah, so that's a couple of things I do. So I just want to be brief. So maybe I should pass it to the next person.
Awesome. Thank you, EBANGHA. Thank you so much. Like, again, we can't wait to, one thing too is before you even get to the interview, how will you be able to get to that interview? It's based on your resume. It's based on how you present yourself on your resume. And EBANGHA is very good at that. It's like the pre-interview session or pre-interview period. So you're like the bridge, the bridge between the skills and the interview, right?
Sure.
Yes, you're going to lead us to that level. So we're going to have Emmanuel. The floor is yours, boss. You can take over.
I think we have two Emmanuels here, so.
Oh.
He's referring to the boss Emmanuel.
I said boss. I was very specific.
All right. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good morning, whichever time zone you are watching us. It's a pleasure to be here once again. My name is Emmanuel Ogundipe. I'm based in New York. I had EBANGHA based in New York. So, yeah. So I'm a DevOps engineer, and now I'm adding security to my nomenclature based on my current role. Yeah, so I've taken part in interviewing candidates in my current role too. So I have a lot of experience regarding that, and I've also mentored few numbers of people, engineers, who are currently working and who are also planning to get into tech. I also have a background in environmental science and sustainability. So now I'm trying to see how we can make the cloud to be sustainable. Now I'm talking about green DevOps, talking about cloud, climate technology. Yeah, so I'll be happy to share my experience in the course of this podcast. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. Dear panelists, Kevin,
Awesome.
You want to
So
step
thank
in?
you so
Sure.
much for the intros. We're going to make it as conversational as we should be, because this is a podcast. It ain't a panel session somewhere and we have to go one after the other. And it's amazing the fact that all of us, all of the panelists, regardless of where you currently work, you have a heart for Africa. And that is the most important thing. That is the reason why we are here on a Saturday evening, where here in Nairobi, Kenya region, a Saturday morning, wherever you are. And just to make sure that we share these gems of knowledge. So just as a start, maybe you can share with us, and it can be in any order whatsoever. I don't have an order in mind. As a start, could you please share for us, like, what does it take to get that seat at the interview table or whatever it is, in your own kind of way, in any way you could put it? It would be great to hear from each and every one of you. What does it take? I've heard about LinkedIn optimization, CV, resume, cover letter. Sometimes it's quite confusing. Even myself, sometimes when somebody asks, can I get your resume? I have to confirm, do you really need a resume or do you need a CV? So that you don't have to ask me, now that was a resume, can you share with me something more detailed or something? So it's kind of confusing. It's a confusing world out there. So what does it really take? And I can see Ebane is smiling, so you can start us off.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a nice question. I, for one, I have a lot of things to say. I would say there are countless of things that will qualify you, not just one factor, that will qualify you to land an interview. First, you start with your resume. First thing is your resume. Some people reach out to me, they'll be like, can you help me check my resume? I've been on LinkedIn forever. I don't have interviews. I'll be like, okay, send me your resume. When they send their resume, if you know what I see there, I will just open my mouth like, is this what you send to people? And I'll ask the next question, if you are a hiring manager, is this appealing to your eyes? Can you give someone a job who is having this interview? The person will like, no, it's okay. Because first, like I was talking to someone this morning, on their LinkedIn, they have just their name. There is nothing there. So I mentioned resume. When it comes to resume, your resume has to align with your skills. A few weeks ago, I was putting for a role, a DevOps engineer role, and they need coding as the main skills. And some people were sending me their resume without coding experience. And what I said was, do you have coding? Someone said yes. I said, but I don't see it. He said, oh, I forget to put it. So your resume, put all your skills in it. Put the skills that you know that they are selling. And for me, I have like 100 resumes. I tell people another way to get yourself an interview, your resume should tell you or should tie to a particular job description. If you want to apply for any regular DevOps job, you can just use your regular resume on LinkedIn. But there are some jobs, you can attest to me, they say 150, 200, 180. Those kind of jobs, if you look at them critically, there are some specific skill sets that they have put them there, that have highlighted that if you have this, it's a plus. So what I do is, you take those skills, copy that job description, take it to ChatGPT, any other AI tool that you have, ask the tool to generate you bullet points according to this job description. And then you add on your resume. That will make you stand out. You understand?
Amazing.
That will make you stand out, because most often recruiters, if they reach out to you and they see that your resume doesn't match with what they are looking for, they will tell you to go and add this, to go and add this, to go and add this, and they'll tell you to use a job description. So if you use if you use that job description, it will help you to be up to date, like the expectation of what the company is looking for. That will help you to stand out. You understand?
Amazing.
Your resume too, some people don't even know how to write their resume. Someone sent me the resume today. It's just their name, then their experience. One company, one experience there. So when I was asking, how many years of experience, the person said, I have 5 years of experience. How many companies have you worked? He said, 3 companies. So why don't you have it on your resume? He said he thinks he would say it during the interview. So you understand?
That is crazy.
So sincerely, people don't know what to do. I attend to more than 50 to 70 people a day on LinkedIn. I have like 13,000 followers on LinkedIn. You understand? So I will tell you the things I see every day. When it comes to resume, if you want like your resume to stand out, you start with your name, your address. You leave it like that. Don't put your zip code. Us that are over here, don't put your zip code. You don't want to expose those important information outside. From there, you start with a professional summary. It should be like 1 paragraph, straight to the point. Don't write all the things that will be on the body of the resume on your introduction. It should just be a selling portion of it, something that will sell you at some captivating, eye-catching words that you use there. So you write a professional summary. The next thing you go, you put your skills. That's the format how it should be. You put your skills. When you put your skills, it should not be too long. Before I used to put like 15 skills. That would take a lot of space because all those skills, they are still under your job experience, your work history. So put some very, very important skills there and your soft skills and leave it there. And then after your skills, you have your work experience. If you have 4 work experience, like 4 different companies, you can put it there. And most often, put the work experience that align to your current role. And your work experience should not be like more than 10 years. Well, it should not be more than 10 years. If you did secretary work when you were in school 17 years ago, there is no need you putting that when you're looking for a DevOps role or any other role. Anything above 10 years, I don't think it's really necessary. For one, I have so many things I did not put on my LinkedIn or my resume. So after you align your work experience, you go down to put in your education. You put the year of your education and your school. And then you move down to your certifications, if you have them. And even the organization that give you those certifications. Another problem people are having while having jobs, they focus more on certification. Someone was reaching out to me saying, I need to have my certification before I start applying. No, I had a job before I even got certified. And some companies, you get a job, you get certified, and they reimburse you. So those certification, it doesn't really matter, though it's a plus. You understand? And if you're preparing for your studies, just put under your certification there, in progress. They will understand that you're planning something. It's better that they understand that you're planning something, which is good. You understand? So those are the high level, the formats of a resume. We want to talk about making sure that you're using action words, making sure that your font size, they are all the same. If you look at some people's resume, it is not appealing in the eyes because they have their headings, their header have 26 font size, their regular content have 5 or 11 or 9, which is too small. And then they have color on their resume. All those things, they are not ATS-friendly. And try and look for any ATS-friendly software. I have those things. So some of them you pay them, but there are some free versions. There are some that you can use them for free for a week. Then after 1 week, they start charging you. But look for an ATS-friendly software and drop your resume in it. I have it. So when people reach out to me, all I do is I send you that software. Then I ask you to drop your resume on it. When you drop your resume, it will help score your resume. You score it on 100. Sometimes we'll give you 20, we'll give you 30, we'll give you 40. I'm like, okay, do you see it? And then it gives you all the area where you have to work on. So you yourself, you can help fix it. They'll tell you the style is not okay, the format, the session, the content is 0 or 100. So that is how you know your resume is not ATS friendly. You understand? I want to add a little bit on. I want to add a little bit on LinkedIn, because it's not only your resume that will give you a job. Your LinkedIn.
Ebane, I'd like you to pause it at LinkedIn. I want us to get to LinkedIn a bit later on in the session. Okay. So let's keep it at that. I love the fact that we're on resume right now. So thanks so much for that. And I think I'll invite Emmanuel to just add into what Ebane has said, then Jane can come in so that we just keep it on the resume. Then we can come to LinkedIn and you can now put in the tips around LinkedIn. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love these. I love these. And Emmanuel, please take it away. Thank you. Thank you, Ebane.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ebane, for that wonderful opening. Yeah. Unfortunately, the field of IT or cloud or DevOps have become increasingly competitive, in recent years. During the COVID time, COVID-19 pandemic, it was relatively easier to secure roles, in cloud or DevOps. At that times, candidates who could discuss concepts like CI/CD, Jenkins, just mention all those things, and you can, kind of demonstrate a basic understanding of this technology, you are most likely to get hired, if you can mention all those things. However,
sorry about that. Yeah.
So, however, the landscape has changed significantly. Today, some employers, they will want you to have a lot of skills, a lot of diverse skills, a lot of expectations, a lot of requirements. When you look at the JD, the job descriptions, and you see how robust, how bogus those requirements are, some people are even scared away that I don't even know where to start. So, and the same thing goes with the employers too. They also, like recently, I've been part of the team that interview some candidates, some DevOps engineer for our company. So I see how it's even difficult to hunt for talent, even on the side of the employers too. It's really, really difficult because you are looking for something and you are not getting that thing. For instance, you are looking for candidates that have AWS as experience, but you are getting maybe Azure or Google or GCP. It's really, really difficult. Now, for the side of job seekers, this is what I think Ebane has mentioned some of those things, but because it's now highly competitive, so you have to be creative about it. For instance, during my own time, when I was interviewing for jobs, because of, like, I used to tell people you have to be real, because you have to say what you say you know, and you have to know what you say you know. Because, we just have to be like, we have to be careful because, and maybe not being careful, but we have to kind of really be intentional about what we need or about what we want. So the preparation starts from resume, just like Ebane mentioned a few minutes ago, but it's not just that. You have to be able to defend what you put on your resume, because when we wanted to interview any candidate, they shared the resume with us. And I look at the resume, I see what the person put there, and I generated my questions from that resume. So don't be surprised that all the questions will be generated from your resume. That's one thing every job seeker has to put at the back of their mind. So know every line of your resume. For instance, you want to, you know Kubernetes, right? We know you know Kubernetes as a candidate, but you put maybe in 2006, one of the features of Kubernetes was not available, and you went to put it there. So, it's a red flag. So these are the things that kind of work against some candidates, that they don't even get past that resume submission. So it goes beyond that. Most importantly, like I said, please, for every job seeker, know that most of your questions will come from what you put on your resume, and know that you have to defend yourself. You have to answer those questions. Another thing that I always, share with people is regarding reaching out to recruiters. Sometimes it's always good to go on LinkedIn. I think Emmanuel mentioned this briefly. It's also good to go and, you can filter for DevOps recruiters on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn has that features where you can filter, for DevOps recruiters or cloud engineer recruiters or SRE recruiters, whatever role you are planning to apply for. So filter those things and then send a kind of message, a short message, to those recruiters that, hey, John, or whatever the name of the recruiter is, I'm a DevOps engineer. I have so years of experience. I'm just reaching out, looking for opportunity. Just simple message like that has gotten a lot of people jobs. Yeah, so there are different kinds of tricks because all these things are in phases. The plan you make while you are submitting your applications, then when you get a call for an interview, the kind of preparation you make towards that as well. And even when you get a job, all these things are in phases. When you get a job, you have to make some plans as well to make sure that you retain the job. Yeah, let me just stop here for now so that other people can talk about other things. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. You mentioned something very important about the ability to defend what you put on a resume, and I love that. And even as Jane comes on and as Eric puts Jane on stage, it would be great to also, as we also discuss this, and I know Jane is also going to transition this as you also have the resume, and also we also looked at the LinkedIn, to be great to talk about the pitfalls. I know Ebani has already started and she talked about people don't know what they put on the resume. People maybe put something and says, okay, I assume I'll be asked that question and that is when I'll answer that question in the interview. I don't put the skill sets and something like that. So then as you answer, please also start us off on the pitfalls, on the things that people are doing wrong and they even don't know they're doing it wrong. Yeah. Over to you, Jane.
All right. Thank you so much. Everybody is looking to get an opportunity by the time you start working on your resume. And so there are things that you must understand. And I think my earlier speakers have talked about it. Any employer or anybody seeking to give you an opportunity is looking for authenticity. They're looking for whom can I work with? So what happens? And as a recruiter, you'll find that you'll get a document. We have very many coaches out here. We'll do your document, and then you come for interviews. But like Emmanuel said, that document has been done for you, or probably you've gone to ChatGPT, but you've not taken time to be authentic enough to understand what do you understand? What these roles that you've put that you can do, have you done them? Do you understand them? Can you be able to communicate them to anybody who seeks to find that? So one of the pitfalls I find is that you get very good profiles. And by the time you shortlist a profile, you are sure they can do the job. So there are two pitfalls. First, as a recruiter, the look and feel of what you've presented and has been highlighted is crucial. But now knowing the content and value of what you've put is also important. So the pitfall is that you find somebody on the interview table and they have a very good profile, but there's a disconnect between the person you're seeing and the paper they've given to you. You can't correlate. So, and that becomes sometimes you find some people take five minutes in an interview, another one will take 10 because they're able to express exactly what they have on their paper. And sometimes as a recruiter, you'll say, park these, let's talk about you. Let's talk about what value or how you understand this. So if your attention is just on that paper you did and you're not authentic enough to say, I understand this job and this is the value I bring on the table, then people find it a little bit of a disconnect. And that is very important. The next thing, and I've seen it with many techies, you're very competent, you know your stuff, but when you come to the interview table, I'm not a techie, so I expect you to help me understand exactly what you're going to do in very simple and succinct word. So, for example, you can come and use just what do you call it? Is it acronyms, or summary of techie? I'm not a techie. I'm not going to understand. I'm the one who's done this job description, but I want you to convince everybody on the table that I can do the job. Probably you're working with an entrepreneur. They want to see how are you going to help them in this setup. They may not know exactly your jargons of how you're going to do it, but they want to see, they have a mind of where they want to go, and they want you to help them understand that. So how do you communicate? How do you put your paper out there that people can understand the value and see it from the end product, because they may not understand the entire journey? So the aspect of authenticity, very crucial. The aspect of being able to sell yourself, and that from your CV, we should be able to pull out exactly what have you done. And you've not done it, it's probably you've studied, or you can demonstrate. I can show you where I've done this before, and I'm credible enough to be able to do this. So how you communicate it is very important. Number 3, and I don't know whether I could talk about LinkedIn a bit on this, because I've had a lot of people using LinkedIn. Like Ebane said, you have a good profile or not. We can always agree which one is good by what she's told us. I think there's a good checklist. But sometimes I've had people, and maybe even young grads, but just seeing what they post. What stories are they giving? What projects are they working on? I remember I had a data scientist, because she was doing a lot of research. And it's also an area I was very vested in, because the company I was working with wanted new data scientists, but she kept researching. And every time on her page, she had a lot of things she's talking about. And you know what? I had to get this person on board because she seems to understand. And it was a new field in the company I was working with, and we needed very good people. So what stories do you tell out of your trade? How do you show value to a business? Over and beyond your techie skills, what's the value add you bring to an organization? For example, if you look at my profile, you see I have worked with insurance companies, but I want you to show me probably what innovations are you going to bring because of your techie know-how. So how do you incorporate that from the resume to when you show up to your LinkedIn, and the consistency of that will probably earn you a job or an opportunity when you're looking for it. Thank you.
Amazing. I love that. Yes, please do. I know you're in the zone and in the flow, please.
Yeah, and the one other thing is just about showing up. There's the element when you know you're good enough, and when you're a techie, you're on demand, but show up with the same hygiene issues in terms of time. If you're called on time, just show up, and show up. I know we're in a very flexible way. Just show up as a smart person. Who would you want to work with? Show up with enthusiasm. Don't come looking dull like Gary, I know it. Just show some enthusiasm. People are human, and people are looking for people they want to work with. So just show up with a bit of humanity, because above the systems and machine and automation, I'm looking for somebody we can have a conversation. I'm looking for somebody we can go to a client, pitch for work, for a project, solve a solution. So just show up as the best version of yourself. Show up on time. People are very, you can lose opportunities based on time. If you're not able to show up on time, there's a way to be able to communicate that. And people are human. You could have an interview, you're not able to. Just communicate it. You can get another day. And especially when you're good at your stuff and people have done a bit of research around you, people will give you time. So be authentic enough, and you'll find that opportunities are open for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, and I really appreciate it. Even as we go on, I know we have a couple of us here, we are part of our audience. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat, because after Emmanuel and Ebane go for this in terms of the pitfalls, I'll be taking in your questions so that we can be able to get the most value from our esteemed panelists here, our speakers. So you've mentioned something, and let me just put a perspective into it. You've mentioned about being on time, being smart, showing up, being enthusiastic. And it really caught me because it really resonated with me, because there was a certain time when we were developing a strategic plan for a certain organization, and we had this consultant, and I can say he was a very senior person in terms of age, but I could see, I was like, wow, this guy, this is the reason why he's the one to become our core consultant. I could go into the session. It was a 5-day kind of a thing. We were supposed to show up every day and look at different parts of the strategic plan. But there's no one day I was able to get into the hotel conference room before him. I was wondering how this guy, as in I'm expecting this guy is past 70. He should be sleeping enough and waiting for us to tell him that we have arrived so that he can come. But when I asked him, when I was having lunch and I asked him, how is it that you're able to always be early? And he says, on time is late. And since you know that people can get intimidated when is too early, what usually does, even if it's, you know, every city in Africa sometimes has this traffic thing. He usually says he goes and gets to like a coffee house beside the venue where it's going to be 1 hour before. And then by the time it's like 10 minutes before, he just walks to the venue and people wonder like, oh, this guy is so on time. But he'd already made plans to ensure that there's nothing comes into between him being late or something. And it's quite something, because that is what most people think, that it's you can negotiate about it, but sometimes you cannot just negotiate about time and blame it on traffic and all these other weird things. Amazing. So over to you, Emmanuel, then Ebane can finish this up for us in terms of the pitfalls.
Thank you, Eric. That was a great one. Thank you, Ms. Jane. When it comes to reason why people fail or what people are doing wrongly, Ms. Jane mentioned most of it: not being authentic, showing up late. Right. One of the tips for a good interview, for your interview to go smoothly or successfully, is to show up 5 minutes to your time. Because sometimes you want to sign in and you can't log in. And you'll be struggling. Those are all things I myself have experienced. You'll be struggling. Oh my goodness, it's not going. They say, okay, use your password, use the code, the link, the password. Now you'll be struggling, use a pencil. You're struggling to take down that code, that number to fit in, then to come in. You, oh my goodness, just that 2-minute situation will increase your anxiety, make you so tense. So showing up early, because if you show up early, like 5 to 10 minutes before time, if you run into a situation like that, you address it, and you can still sign on into your meeting 2 minutes at least before time. Then you calm down, you prepare yourself, then you sign in. But if you sign in 2 to 3 minutes and you find yourself, you encounter a challenge, you will be very, very anxious. You will be tense. At the end of the day, you might not even sign in. So I don't want to go deep. It's something that has happened to me, you understand? At the end of the day, you might not sign in. Then if you successfully go in, you will not be able to put down yourself, start talking. By the time they ask you, can you tell me about yourself? You'll be all over your place, all over the place. So our advice, showing up early, 7 minutes, because 10 minutes is not correct. It's like you're bugging them. 10 minutes to go and sign is not correct. 7 to 5 minutes early, at least 5 minutes, you should be there. When you sign up early too, they know that, no, this person is someone who show up early. You already show your work ethic. You understand? Then another thing, she was talking about being able to express yourself. That is where public speaking comes. Like my mentee, those who I mentor, before they start going for interview, I put them on the hot seats. I do interview preparation on them. Like there are some people who have never taken interview. Maybe they have taken customer service interview, but they have never taken tech interview. So I try to do them interview preparation. I put them on the hot seat. I start asking them questions. Can you tell me about yourself? And they'll be rambling all over the place. So having or preparing a well-structured tell me about yourself. That is a question you will see in the interview. So at least prepare that one. I will just meet you if I'm in an interview, I'm saying, Emmanuel, can you tell me about yourself? And then you see that you're making, okay, my name is, what are you doing? That's see, it takes 2 seconds for an interviewer to determine if they'll give you that job or not. From your tell me about yourself, from your intro, it tells that. You understand? Then another thing is neglect of soft skills. Your ability to come into an interview and communicate with the team, talking with them. After the interview, and when they ask you, do you have any question for me? And you say no. That's already a sign. Talk about your soft skills. Make them laugh. Ask them what motivates them. A few months ago, I did an interview. I did 9 rounds of interview. I went for a DevOps role, and they gave me a senior cloud engineer role. That was because my performance was more than the expectation. I don't know if you're understanding. That was because my performance was more than our expectation. During those 9 rounds, I show up early. During those nine rounds, I was confident in myself. I speak what I know. I was able to explain my project. Before you go into an interview, have 1 or 2 projects according to the company, what they're looking for. If you don't know what they're looking for, you will not be able to explain or say yourself how you can help them achieve or solve their problem. So you should be able to understand what this company is doing, what problem they are facing, and how you're coming to solve that problem. If not, that interview will go at the end, they will not even come back. You understand? So for me, what happened is I went into the interview during the second phase when I was talking to the VPs. I asked him, what problem are you guys encountering right now? He told me they're having issues with costs. So the subsequent interview, I prepared project on costs, and that was the thing I was talking to them. I told them, this is how I'm going to help you reduce your costs. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. So always when you come into an interview, be vigilant, try to abstract what the problem is, then pitch on that. You understand? The ability to demonstrate. I can remember one of the VP said, why he want to hire me is because I have certification. I love to learn. He said he has talked with so many people. They don't have that ability to study by themselves. Because taking certification shows that you have the ability to personally discipline yourself, like you are self-motivated. You don't need anybody to stay with you in your room for you to study. That means you can sit by yourself and do whatever task he gives you. So that was one of the tips he gave to me, that was what is so impressed. So there are things you can demonstrate that will make them know that, no, this person is a good person for us to hire. I'll just wanna, there are so many, let me give room for other people to say, yeah, I should not just be
this one is
saying
like
all the points. Yeah.
It's like an endless journey, and even myself, I can't even be tempted to stop you, because when you go on and on, it's until you get that. So Emmanuel, so, definitely. You're welcome, Emmanuel.
Okay,
Emmanuel.
all right. Yeah, thank you, Ebana and Jane. Yeah, they have really done a nice justice to this topic about interview techniques for tech roles. Yeah, so just like Ebana said, opening intro is very, very important. And the most consistent out of all the interviews that I've taken by myself and the one that I've done for my company for candidates, the most common and consistent question is, tell me about yourself. There's no interview you go to, that question is like it will always come. So, and you know, to me, it's just like a bonus for anybody taking interview, because you already know that this question is coming, and then planning is the key. For all the people that have been mentoring, I always let them craft their own tell me about yourself. especially based on the JD. Yeah, you can make it generic, but sometimes depending on the roles that you are applying for, you can, tweak it, a little bit. But it's always good for every job seeker to have a script. It could be either a page or 2 pages of, I think a page should be fine. Tell me about yourself. So just like me, because of my background in environmental science, and that will lead me to another point that I want to talk about, creativity. You have to be creative about your interview, your tell me about yourself, and even with everything. So every field has a way of connecting to IT. Like every discipline that we have in the whole world, they have a relationship with IT. So whatever background you are coming from, whether environmental science, whether sociology or criminology, they have a way of connecting to IT. For instance, with my background in environmental science, in my own tell me about yourself at the end, I always let them know that, hey guys, there's another thing to know about myself that is not included on my resume. And that is the fact that I'm a green DevOps advocate. So you can also do, if you are an engineering, if you are coming from an engineering background, just go to ChatGPT or Google or whatever, search for relationship between that role or IT and that your field. So because that will make your interview to be real. Another trick that I also use during my interview is that in the past days, there's something I don't know, for those of, maybe this is not for Gen Z, this is for maybe millennium or baby boomers, or I don't know where you fall to, but not for Gen Z. There's something we call diskettes or floppy disk. So we use that, years ago to store, just like before flash drive came. So we use floppy disk and all those things. So during your interview, you can also mention that, oh yeah, I remember when I was, when I was working somewhere, or when, whatever. Oh, I remember then we used floppy disk, we use CD to install maybe Microsoft Word on our laptop, or to configure our laptops, then, you can mention something like that so that they know where you are coming from, so that they know that you are not just coming. So those are the techniques that you can also use. You can, and you let them know that, oh, it's so amazing how technology has developed up to what we have today. Then we use CD to install all those software, but now we are using image. Now, I think some people still use flash drives anyway, but it's also, fading out, because we have OneDrive, we have Google Drive, we have, a lot of cloud storage now. So you can, be creative about it, be real about your interview, so that they will know that, okay, this person is not just like, jumping into this. Then another thing is relevance. You want to talk to your JD. Like I used to tell people that I mentor, that when a recruiter sends you a JD, you can take that JD, the whole of that JD, especially the skills aspect, the requirement, the competence, paste it inside ChatGPT, and tell ChatGPT to explain or generate questions that will be asked based on that JD. Those are the techniques that you can also do. It will give you all those questions. You can even tell the AI to give you question and answers that could be generated, it will give you everything, questions and answers, and that will really prepare you ahead. And there's another significant aspect of it that we all have been talking on this podcast, and that is being able to defend what you know, what you say you know. I think all the speakers have already mentioned this. We have to know that if you are going for an interview, you must have 2 or 3 projects. I think Ebana specifically mentioned this. You have to have 2 or 3 projects, and not just having those projects. Make sure they are projects that you are comfortable to talk about to anybody. Like when they wake you up, okay, tell me about this project, maybe migration of GitHub to Bitbucket or AWS, using AWS config to secure S3 bucket or CI/CD project, whatever project that you have done, make sure you have like 2 or 3 that you can confidently and comfortably talk about during your interview. And another thing that people always miss out is troubleshooting. Our job is all about troubleshooting, solving problems, because problem will always come. You run Terraform plan, errors will come. How do you attend to those errors? Do you get frustrated? Do you get tired about it? What are the steps that you will take to solve? So they will always ask you questions based on all those projects that you shared. They will ask you question that, okay, what was the challenge that you faced during the implementation of this project? You don't want to say, no, we did not have any, I did not encounter any problem. That would be a red flag. So at that point, they will be making up their mind that no, this is not what we expected. So prepare for 2 or 3 troubleshooting. It could be something like we have intermittent connection between our database and our application, and we check and we discover, what did you do? Yeah, the triage is, okay, we check the logs, and then in the logs we found out that the credentials, the database credentials was misconfigured. It could be something like that, or something related to that. Yeah, so I will stop at this point. Thank you.
Awesome. I think at this point, it would be great for me to take the backstage and bring back on board Eric. I know it has been quite some gems. I've written pages and pages. I have something for my LinkedIn next week. So that is nice. You mentioned something very important, troubleshooting. And most of the time, people are so into trying to make it work the very first time. And when they see challenges, somebody can even usually see somebody who is learning, they share with you a screenshot of an error. And even the error has the explanation of how to solve that error, but they don't care. As long as they've seen a red thing, they are going to share, this thing is not working. Can you share this? Here is a screenshot. Then you just ask them, have you read? They're telling you that maybe run pip install update or whatever it is, just for you to just get to the next, or maybe node is deprecated or whatever it is, and they just don't want to run the command that is shown there. Yeah, so as Eric comes in, I know Jane, I love the fact that you're neutralizing all the techiness in this because you come from a non-tech background, you're a career analyst, and it brings about the whole mixture of it. I'd like to ask you this question before I bring Eric on to take the Q&A. There's usually that point in time where you're going to be asked a question in an interview and you don't know anything. You're blank. The bars are moving around your head. There's nothing coming out as an answer. How do you handle this? How do you handle like a block? Do you just try to force an answer? Do you say you don't know and you're going to, what do you do? What do you do when you're asked a question that you have no idea about?
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Before I answer that, I just want to make comments to 2 things. First is to know that you have a given period of time for that interview. You don't have all the time to talk about yourself and everything. So also be conscious of, you have 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, what's the best use of your time for that 30 minutes? People don't like a lot of stories. They'll get tired and they probably start cutting you short because they're waiting for other people. So make it succinct, and that's why it's good to look through it before the interview, know your staff, know your project. Just have a few 3 things you can talk about. The next thing to mention, and especially looking for interviews, you're maybe doing interviews to many companies. Sometimes you get an interview to my company and you have put the address of another company, in the fast pace. So just be very careful what you send it to which employer, because it can be very irritating to get dear HR of a different company, and it's just a mistake. Look through your documents and make sure they are clear and clean. Then your interviewing for a company, maybe you've been given a referral by somebody, these guys are looking for somebody, just go right ahead, you're invited for an interview. You have no clue which this company is, and there's a lot of information out there. So the first thing people ask you, what do you know about us? And you have nothing, I mean, you want to work with us, you don't know about me, even a thing, I start disconnecting in terms of who you are and so get a bit of information of the people you want to work with. Not everything, people will appreciate the little that you know about them, but it can't be you don't know and you have put an application here. The other thing, body language speaks. So if it's a physical interview, don't just come and sit, just learn how to be seen, to be engaging the audience that you have. It speaks loud, way from the way you walk through the door. If it's a physical one, it's virtual as well. We've talked about it. Now, nobody, we're all human beings and we don't expect that you know everything. So if there's a question that you're asked and you realize you can't remember and you can't answer it, it is okay, to say, I'll be able to engage on that in future, or I don't know. And nobody penalizes you for that, for your information. So we're not looking for robots that click, and based on how you've been handling yourself in the interview, the questions you've been confident, people then are able to understand that it's okay. Even an interviewer forgets the question they had, by the way, you come with a sample of questions and you forget. So be human enough, and people are looking for people who can be honest, because if you're not honest in an interview, even when I give you work, the day you don't meet your deadline, you're gonna give me a different story. So, and that is another thing. Remember, being a techie, you'll come and work in a business with other people, you'll work with teams. So all these qualities also show what is the softer side of your people skills. And as much as you're talking about the techie projects you have, it's also good to demonstrate where you've done projects. Maybe you have been a lead in a project. Maybe you worked with HR professional when they're automating their system or digitalizing. Show how your collaborative skills, your ability to influence change. Sometimes a lot of techie projects are transformational projects in an organization. Show how you are able to work with different teams to be able to achieve an agenda, timelines, milestones, and all that. So over and beyond your techie skills, you may get a question like, who else are you? If you're not working, feel free to say what else you do. Some people get jobs because we have seen very many people who can do the job, but we want to see who else are you. So if you're in sports, if you do other activities, if you mentor other people, just say who you are. Sometimes those are the things that start separating the winners from the non-winners. Thank you.
Awesome. At this juncture, I think I'll invite Eric to take it away in terms of the Q&A. Over to you, Eric.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, the panelists. It's really been amazing. All the time I was just taking my notes, even though I got kicked out of some time. Every word that was said was very important to me, right? I felt at some point, I couldn't even maybe take a sip of water or maybe take a drink or something, because I was afraid I was going to miss a point. So I couldn't even, yes, I couldn't even leave my chair to grab something. So I was scared I'm going to miss a point. So it's really been amazing. Guys, if you're actually enjoying this, just let us know in the chat. We have a few more minutes to go. Just let us know in the chat if you've been enjoying this podcast. Just put in your emoji or something just to, let us know if this has been insightful for you. You are just putting an emoji in the chat. Your best emoji, right? If you want to jump, you jump with the emoji, right? If you want to fly, you're screaming. Guys, let's get you on the chat. Let's get on the chat. Awesome. I see the chat floating already. Awesome. Marieka. Great. Okay, I see you. Godfrey. Awesome. Nice to have you, Ruth. Awesome. Damilola. Yes, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, the second boss. Adam, we see you. Yeah, high tech. Ziza, we see you. Maurice, this amazing Kweku, amazing. Great. Fabrice, Emmanuel. Yes, Moij. Patrick, awesome. Guys, this is amazing. Yes, EBANGHA is there in the background. We're glad to have you. So without much ado, so we'll go straight with the Q&A. right? But before the Q&A, I would like to know, probably from Emmanuel, right? Emmanuel and also Ebanga, if she's still on the call. Yeah, because they've actually been taking interviews, right? I would not like to ask Jen, because Jen has been the one, you know, giving the firing on the questions, right? So I want to ask those who've been taking interviews, like what has been for interviews you've taken, right? What has been your challenging ones, the challenges you face? What do you actually face, you know, on an interview? How did it challenge you? What actually troubled you a lot in a particular interview, and how did you tackle it? Maybe start with Emmanuel. Sure, Emmanuel.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Eric. So the challenge on the part of job owners, or as a DevOps engineer, as a person.
Yes.
Okay, so which one are you?
Yes, as a DevOps engineer, right? As a DevOps
Okay.
engineer in your role. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think, because I'm representing my company, so I don't think I personally have any challenge, but company-wide, in terms of the roles hunting that we're doing, so the challenge that we faced, like as a team, was that we have to interview a lot of candidates, because there's something we're looking for that we didn't get. So we're looking for a skill in database, but we were unable to get something like that. And another thing is that we are AWS heavy environment. So we are looking for candidates within that environment, but we're getting something from other cloud providers, like we're getting a lot of candidates from other cloud providers. So I thought it was going to be easy, like, okay, we just interview 1 or 2 candidates and that's it. But no, yeah. So it ended up like interviewing different kinds of people, you know. Those are the challenges that I think I face with my team. But maybe personally, sometimes you ask questions and the person is not really hitting that point, or the person is like going, you know, beating around the bush, and, you know, it's not really. So sometimes it's always good to be concise, just like Jane. I think Jane mentioned that it's good to be concise. Go straight to the point. Don't ramble. Don't waste time. And that is why, like, there was a time I was interviewing. I got the job, and the hiring manager told me while I joined the team that the reason why they gave me the job was because I was answering questions with past projects that I have done. So don't just answer as if you are teaching them.
That's great.
Use projects that you have done to answer those questions, just like the question about troubleshooting. What challenge did you face? Don't say, don't just ensure you connect it with a project. And I think that will make anybody stand out.
Awesome. That's you hit it. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. Ebanga, you've done quite a lot of interviews, and you've said you've had 10 rounds of interviews. So we'd like to hear from you. Which of them, right? Let's get which of them. Which of the rounds was the most challenging for you? Yes, and how did you tackle it? Sure.
Thank you, Eric, for that question. If I want to be honest with you, you run this place. I've taken so many interviews, my brother. So many interviews. So right now on my LinkedIn, I have like 15,000 applications jobs that I've applied. You will not see that anywhere. 15,000. I can say I've done almost 100 interviews. That's why, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and during all these interviews, I can't say I didn't have challenges, because sometimes you interview and they will come and tell you, sorry, we are moving on. But those responses should not define you, because they have something else that they're looking for. I remember a couple of months ago, I did an interview with a company. They said they like me, I did a live coding session, like it was a 90. See, I was so angry with I was so angry doing that after that interview because it was a live session, coding interview. They gave me Terraform, something. I did that. And the man was happy. So then they went ahead now to do technical questions. Everything went well. I was in that panel with 8 persons, 8 teams. I mean, the screen could not even contain everybody. So after that interview, 1 or 2 weeks later, they sent me an email or the recruiter reached out that they did not choose me. Why? I'm coming to this point. Why? Because that role was a lead role. The role was a lead role. When I had my first interview with the hiring manager, he expressed his concern. He said he has not seen leadership experience on my LinkedIn. That was his concern. Then after the interview, they reached out to me that they sent my email that they went with someone who have a leadership experience, which is okay. You see, like that man, the other person was saying that you were attending the seminar and the man was there. The man was an elderly man. The man has a lot of experience. So maybe they went ahead with that kind of person with that kind of experience. I was just angry because I was angry with myself because I shouldn't have taken an interview, but it's okay. It was a win-win. So for me, that was the issue I had there because I had to go through coding, a lot of things. So to save yourself from trouble, it's good to understand the context or the structure of an interview. Now, when I want to take interview, ask them, is it a coding? If you know you're in for it, you go for it. If not, you go through so many hurdles, and at the end of the day, they will not give you that job. You understand? So those are the challenges that people go through. Then sometimes, like one person I'm mentoring, she's coming telling me that this is a developer role. You can't be going for a developer role, you're a DevOps engineer. You can't be, even platform engineer they have some kind of software engineering in there. So you are not a good fit. So understanding what you can do, understanding yourself, understanding your capabilities will save you from a lot of issues. But if you just jump into an interview because you saw interview request, you go in there, you have so many challenges. Those are all the things I've been able to analyze and figure it out. Now, before I go into an interview, I know that this is what I want. If I go into that interview, I get that job. Because I've get to understand the interview system. But before, when I didn't understand what is going on, I would just jump into an interview. Sometimes, no matter what you say in that interview, you're not the right person. They will not give you. No matter the questions you answer, they will not give you that job. So you have to understand yourself. You have to understand your skills. You have to understand the limits, how far you can go. If not, at a point in time, you'll feel overwhelmed. You'll be thinking you are the one having a problem. You are not having a problem. It's because you are not going for the right job. And then lastly, what I want to say here is I've encountered challenges during interview. I could not answer the question correctly. They asked me some project when I came unprepared. So what I learned from it is after your interview, go back and retrospect. Analyze your interview, see what you did right, see what you did wrong. I was talking to somebody, he reached out to me. I did a couple of interviews 3 weeks ago. It didn't go well. They have not reached out to me. I'll try and do more application. My first question is, what went wrong with the interview? Okay, after the interview, have you analyzed what you did wrong? What are you preparing to do different in your next interview? The questions they ask you, put them down. Try to answer them for yourself and try to develop another strategy. Those are all the things I do. So after any interview, and when it comes to tech interviews, I'm telling you, with tech interviews, the questions are repetitive. If you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if you're someone with smart, you take down all those questions, you'll know that your number 8, your number 9, your number 10 or 15 interviews they have. Inside 10 questions, 7 of them will take on.
Wow.
So where we keep having those challenges is because we don't go back to those interviews. If possible, record yourself. I started recording myself during my interview. That helped me a lot. That helped me resolve a couple of challenges I had. I came to realize that I don't do eye contact. When I was watching my video, I'm like, oh my goodness, I swear, if I'm the higher manager, I'll not be sure. So me being unable to do eye contact, to maintaining understanding how the environment is going. I was not understanding the interview environment. I'll just see when they ask me a question, I'll just answer on my seat. Sometimes when they ask you a question, you give an answer. You yourself, you ask a follow-up question. How do you guys do this in your environment? Then that makes it conversational. It makes it lively. So how I started resolving challenges I'm having in my interview, I started recording myself. I started trying to do things different, changing strategies. Before, if I'm coming late, I started coming early. I realized that when I come early, I take control of the room. Immediately I enter the interview, I'm waiting for you. Immediately you show your face, I'll call your name first. When you practice these tips, you see how things go different for you. So before I'll just come reluctantly, reluctantly and sit there. That let you call my name. No, I don't do that now. So when I enter the room, I'll be the one to say, hey, Eric, how are you? Good morning. How was your day? Did you have any coffee this morning? Immediately the interview responds. You yourself, you see that your anxiety will calm down. Then you have control over the room. Then preparing your tell me about yourself, like how Emmanuel said, have that ready. Before, I used to have one tell me about yourself in all my interviews. I changed that strategy. I use your job description and I make a tell me about myself. I just add one or two things like where I live and my educational background, because you don't change those ones. And a little bit of my soft skills. So each of my interview, I have a different tell me about yourself. If you practice those tips, you learn a job very fast. Then after the interview, before, when I'm just telling you a couple of problems I used to have, before they'll ask me, sometime 1 hour, I'll be so tired. I'll be like, no, I don't have any question. See, do your best, no matter how tired you are after interview, when they ask you, ask them question. They'll give you that job. Ask them question, what is your company doing? Challenges you are having? What is the vision you are having in the next 2 to 3 years? Culture, what motivates you? Ask the person, what motivates them to come to work every day? What do they like? What do they like to do out of their work? Then they will know that you are somebody who is interested. Because those are soft skills. Somebody is just looking for someone that is coachable, that is teachable. So if you can relate with the person, make the person, so maybe they're having a dull morning and you make them laugh during the interview, I swear. Those are just the things they are looking for. So those are a couple of things that have worked for me, how the challenges I had before, the errors I was making, coming late, not being confident, not preparing projects. I fixed all those things by coming early, being confident in myself. You will see me take an interview, you'll be like, wow. I sound like the person interviewing. So I feel I speak very confident. Why? Because I have the understanding of my project. So whatever thing, this question, what are you working on? That is an opportunity for you to tell them what you are working on. It's different when they ask you, can you tell me about a CICD problem? That's different. But the main question they always ask you, can you tell me, after telling me about yourself, can you tell me about a project you're working on? That means have one of your Christmas project, like your best rice and stew project that you know to your fingertip. And when they ask you that question, oh my goodness. You know, when you're taking GC exam and they ask you a question that you know, and you'll be writing that page, and you can even request for another page.
Request for another paper,
that's how you split goals. So have that project that when they ask you, you just kill it. The other subsequent questions, even if you don't have 100 on 100, this one can cover it. So that's what has worked for me. After that, you do a follow-up within 24 hours. It works magic. Even if after 3 days or a couple of days, still do a follow-up email, thank you email. After 2 days, still do a follow-up. Those things, sometimes those higher managers, they forget that they have taken an interview with you. And when you do a follow-up, they'll be like, oh my goodness. Then they'll say, okay, let's reschedule for another round. So follow-up is those are the things I was not doing before. Now I do follow-up. From application to interview So after that, if I take 20 hours of interview, I do 20 thank you and send to them. So those are the things that have worked for me. Yeah.
Wow. This is really amazing. I think the time is just too short for us to have this session. I feel like we just need to continue and continue and continue, right? It's really amazing, really amazing. So the key word I get from all you've said, right, and also from what Emmanuel said is all of this, it boils down to practice, right? It boils down to practice, practice, practice. Once you practice, you're able to see where you are running short of something, then you pick up, right? You see your challenges, you see where you need to balance up, and then you improve yourself, you get more better. So let's get straight to our audience. I know they've been hungry to ask their questions, and I see a lot of questions too on the chat. I see Patrick. Yes, Patrick has asked a couple of questions there. So Patrick says that it's been an awesome lesson, learning a lot. And then the question, my background is biological sciences, and I pivoted to tech about 2 years back. Currently, I have AWS Cloud Practitioner, Azure Foundation, and is working on AWS Solutions Architect set with the goal furthering my development to become a DevSecOps engineer. Kindly advise on these two, right? The first one is, do I need a formal education certification in computer science, or e.g. diploma or something, or can I just continue with my cloud certifications? This question, and before we go to the other questions below. Yes, anyone can pick it.
Okay.
Our boss, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I think because it's a background in biological science, so I think it's pointing to me. So yeah, because of my background in environmental science as well. Yeah. So yes, thank you so much, Patrick, for asking that question. Formal education in computer science is helpful, but while a formal computer science degree can be beneficial in this field, it is not strictly necessary for a career in cloud or DevSecOps or DevOps or cloud DevOps. It's not strictly necessary. It may be beneficial, but honestly, you don't need to have a degree in computer science or whatever to land your job. In fact, I've seen a lot of people without any computer science. Even me that I'm talking to you, my degree was not in computer science. So let's just get that right. So your cloud certifications in GCP, Azure, or AWS is enough for you. They are more valuable. The trend is going away from just having a bunch of degrees, but now we are talking about a bunch of skills, have those skills. So your certifications will be very, very helpful, valuable, and relevant in this field. Then just know what you really want to do. You can target courses on Udemy, maybe just try to understand a little bit about Python, but it's not necessary. Understand networking, because security, DevSecOps, Kevin will tell you more about this. DevSecOps is all about networking, security, and all those things. So if you are aiming to focus on DevSecOps, it means combination of DevOps and then securities, or maybe cyber security, because in cyber security we talk about EDR, endpoint detection, and endpoint detection and response, and some other thing, XDR, CSPM, different kinds of things. Then having those background with DevOps, implementing CI/CD pipeline, how you can secure CI/CD. Then in those areas, you'll be talking about static application security testing, dynamic application security testing, different kinds of interactive, different kinds of tests that we do. Yeah, so you have to be knowledgeable in those areas. Now, how will you stand out beyond certifications and projects? One of the ways that you can stand out is to start a mini tech blog. And if you have YouTube, if you are the type that can start, doing things on YouTube channel, it works well. It works like magic, because it will blow you up. Then if you can also be posting on LinkedIn your projects, I've seen a lot of people doing that. So if you can do that too, it will create more visibility for you. It will let the recruiters, the hiring managers to quickly identify and locate you. Because there's this algorithm with LinkedIn that when you post a project, there's a way the keywords will, kind of trigger reactions, from people that are looking for that specific role. So that is one of the ways that strong online presence. You can also use GitHub. You can use LinkedIn. You can use medium.com. I think that there are a bunch of them, dev.com or so. Yeah, so, and you can host your own simple resume on S3 bucket. You can use static web hosting using S3 bucket. And you can even use it to talk. You can use it to talk during your interview. That is part of the project that you also did to host your resume, so that by the time you send the link and you connect the link to a domain name, in Route 53, and then you send those links to recruiters, and they'll be able to see you. Yeah, so those are the things I think will really help you. Then another thing, building experience for an entry-level cloud role. In as much as I understand this, I think things like internship, volunteering will really, really help you. It will put your foot in the door. Then maybe I don't really understand that last part of the question. But another thing that I will tell you is that leverage your biology background as well. Just like I said the other time, look for ways. I think bioinformatics is kind of like the bridge between biology and IT, and there's something we call healthcare IT as well. So where your background in biology will really put your foot. That is why just like Ebana said, please don't undermine your background. Wherever background you are coming from, it doesn't matter. Just try to create that relationship, between that background and what you are currently planning to go into. I think I will stop at this point. If anybody has any input, yeah, that would be nice. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You just gave us some overdose of that again. You've trashed all the questions already. So I don't know if there are any other questions. Let me see. Okay, Patrick has confirmed, right? He says that this is reassuring. He's going to implement the suggestion as shared. Yeah, right. Let me see if there are any other questions. Okay, Jen Motegi. Okay, she's asking, from a non-tech background, having just certified for foundational cloud exam, no job experience in tech, and would like to venture into it. Can I use publications like in medium.com documentations into the interview as my projects? Yes, Emmanuel, since you are still on the seat, maybe you just try that question.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Yeah, absolutely, Jane. Absolutely. Just like I already mentioned medium.com. You can also use GitHub. And then when you use GitHub, make sure you are creating your code, afresh. It's okay if you fork the code, but sometimes, they will want to see, the recruiters will want to see that, okay, this code, you work on this code, from the beginning. So after forking that code, you can also create a new repo. Then you can rename the project differently and then put that. So medium.com will really, really help you with no job experience. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people with no tech experience, and they land a great role, even something bigger than what they really plan for. Yeah, so publication like medium.com will really, really help you into the interview. And GitHub, please add GitHub to it as well. And then there's a way you can link medium.com to your, so that any post you have on your medium.com, you can link it to your LinkedIn, so that as you are posting, or when you post, you can also share on LinkedIn, so that it will create that visibility for you.
Awesome, Emmanuel. That's great. So one key thing, all right, Emmanuel is asking, the other Emmanuel, As a DevOps engineer, how can I explain exactly what I do to a novice in the field? Probably to a 5-year-old. That's what Emmanuel is asking.
Yeah,
right?
just do it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so it's one of
yeah.
so it's one of the challenges sometimes when you are making presentation at work, because you are dealing with different kinds of people who don't even know what CI/CD is, or they don't know what DevOps or cloud is. Just like me, I used to share this that when years back when I was planning to go into cloud, I used to think cloud is in the sky, that all the things that we store, they are in the sky, So you need to demystify all those things. You need to come down to their level. Don't use technical jargons that they don't understand. Explain to them with examples, with scenarios. People love visuals a lot. Not everybody likes it, but most people, they want to see it, so use example, use scenarios. Some people don't even know Google. We have been using Google Drive. People don't know that it's cloud. We are already using cloud. If you're using Google Drive, it's cloud, because they don't know. Yeah, so let people know all those things, things that they see around. Use it to explain to them. Don't use technical jargons. Be concise. Don't make it too complicated. Yeah, I think with that should, and let them ask questions. So when they ask questions, then where they are having confusion, and then you'll be able to explain to them.
Awesome. There's another, I think this will be the last question. Godfrey is asking, but before Godfrey, someone asked a question, and this question is referred to EBANGHA. Let me see. Question is related to, okay, please, Madam Ebane, can you remind us on the app to use for the CV evaluation?
Yeah, you can use JobScan.
Yes.
And then Ebane, are you there? So you can also
Yeah,
take it
I'm
up.
here. You can use what
Okay.
I send to people. You can reach out to LinkedIn for me. Is a resume enhancer.
Okay.
Resume
All right.
enhancer. You can use that for free. It will just, when you
Okay.
upload your resume, they will just tell you. It will just call your resume one, and then you can take it from there and start adjusting it.
Okay, great. Then the last question. I'm a software engineer. This is from Godfrey. I'm a software engineer and currently pursuing DevOps. Have not had industry experience, but I have a few personal projects. So how do I put this in my resume in place of experience? That is Godfrey's question. So he doesn't have any much industry experience. He says he's a software engineer and currently pursuing his DevOps journey, and he has no industry experience, but he has a few personal projects. So how does he put this in his resume, right, in place of the experience?
Yeah, the project that you have worked, the things that you have worked, you should just use it, like put those topics and generate it bullet point from ChatGPT, or I use poll. There's other things. There's something and there's another thing that people don't that they are not aware of. They call it poll, POE.com. It's free, so everybody can get access to it. So that's what I use to do resume for people.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so use it. Yes, .com.
Okay.
There is .com. Then just put it. Don't download it. Always just sign in like that. If you download it, the microphone section won't work, because that help you. It has a microphone section that you can speak and you pick it up, and then you just enter it, and then it populates to what you're looking for. So it helps you for your first rounds of interview. Sorry, I'm spilling things here.
All right.
It helps you for your first rounds of interview, like when it's not video, you can use it. It helps you to prepare. Yeah, that one you create your own poll, like your own bot, your own ChatGPT. You put your name, you configure it. So if anybody needs help on that, reach out to me. I'll help you on that.
Awesome. Questions are still popping. I think we're even against time, so this will be the last question. But before we pick up the last question, so guys, we've been talking about projects, and things here, right? Maybe those who are on the call, they don't know what all these projects are all about. They talk about CI/CD, they talk about using tools, and probably some people are on the call and they're confused, right? So the thing is, in SolaviseTech, one of the things we do is we can enhance you, give you these skills with these projects, right? they talked about the CI/CD project. It's one of the things we give in SolaviseTech, we offer during our trainings. So if you want to, get these skills, understand certain tools on how you can present them on an interview, we offer this in SolaviseTech for 4 months intensive, and after that you have 3 months of internship, right? Yes, they talk about internship, which is very important. So that's one of the things we're offering SolaviseTech, so that when you go through this entire training, this entire bootcamp, you are fit for taking up an interview and trashing it. So if you want to start that journey, our next batch of students will be starting this month on the 19th of August, right? So both for cloud computing and data science. So these tech fields. So if you want to start that journey, if you want to embark on this journey in any of the fields, so feel free to reach out to me or to Kevin or to Emmanuel, the boss. So, or even the other Emmanuel as well. Feel free to reach out. So the last question says that, can you share an experience where you made a significant mistake in your first tech job and how you overcome that one fear? That is from Rose Cherono. Yes, you've been on the job. Now you passed the interview. This is the post-interview phase, right? You're already on the job. Yeah, we can just trust that. So that's just a quick one. Maybe in about a minute, Emmanuel, if you're still on the call, you can just try that. So we'll wrap up. We are already 8 minutes into the time.
Okay, so sorry, can you take the question again?
So the question says, can you share an experience where you made a significant mistake in your first tech job and how you overcome? That is day one fear. The day one fear. You say she's talking about day one fear,
Yeah, I think this is something that is normal. Yeah, I've seen somebody gotten a job recently and he said his first day, he was just shaking. He could not even eat. Because the whole thing with the whole information was just coming to you at first. It's an environment that you don't know. Because in this field, if you go to 10 companies, 10 organizations, they have different setup, different environments. And all those things might be new to you. You might have heard all those things, but the best way to do it is to calm down, ask your manager or the lead that what are the test stacks, or what area are you likely to be placed on. Then, go back home. ChatGPT is there. We have different, everybody uses it. So don't be ashamed to use ChatGPT or Claude. We have Claude, we have Gemini, we have, many of them. Copilot, Amazon Q is there. So don't hesitate. Don't be ashamed to use all those things to help you. Yeah, so just go there. If there's any specific mistake or challenges, mistakes are bound to happen. But the most important thing is that when mistake happens, try to learn from that mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But maybe this is another session that we can talk about, because now we are talking about interview techniques. This is a different discussion entirely that maybe we have to demystify in the future.
Sure. Exactly, Manu. Thank you so much. Guys, one more thing before we wrap up. One more thing. The essence of this podcast is not just for us to come and listen and then hear our panelists talk and then we go and then we sit, right? It's good that right here, right now, we should connect with them. We should connect with each and every one of them, and also with each and every audience, right? So while you're here, just drop in your LinkedIn page so that we can all connect, right? You can all connect. You can connect with EBANGHA, you can connect with Emmanuel, you can connect with Kevin, and continue to get the tips while you are even on the job or while you're sitting for the job. So just sharing your LinkedIn profiles, So while you're also sharing, I would like each and everyone to come on camera. Let's have a quick picture, right? Let's make this podcast memorable, right? Let's make them memorable. So guys, let's just come on the camera. You can put on your camera. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Great. Guys, let's come on camera. right? Those who have been sipping tea behind, sipping coffee. Maybe some are even drinking wine, right? We don't while enjoying the session. Guys, show your faces. Right? Let's have a quick Kevin, please, can you unpin Emmanuel so that we can all appear? Can you do that? Okay, I got it now. Okay, great. I got it. Perfect. Guys, let's give a smile. It's been an amazing session, right? This is, like I said, it was not a training. So nobody was supposed to be tense. They didn't ask anybody a question, right? They didn't ask you if you click. Maybe there was troubleshooting or anything. No. It's just been an amazing session.
It's not a coding.
No coding. They didn't ask you if you copy the code. Right? Sometimes like with the training session, some people feel left behind. You know, you are frustrated, and then the session is going, you feel frustrated and you feel like you're lost. So this was not that kind of a session. Guys, so I'm just taking up the smiles. Yes. It's been an amazing session. Okay, the last one. Perfect. Okay, guys, it's been an amazing session. Kevin, let me hand over to you so that you can wrap up. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to wrap it up, but first of all, kindly receive the regards of our CEO, that is Dr. Samba. He unfortunately couldn't make it to be with us today. He's usually my co-host, but I know you guys, Eric did right? He was an awesome co-host. He actually did a very good job. And I can see slowly but surely, if Dr. Samba is going to be watching this, he just knows that his co-host job is on the line. just as an example. First of all, I'd like to appreciate each and every speaker. You have made these awesome. We couldn't have had those nuggets ourselves. They even spoke to me. I've actually got to know that I'll have to really be intentional about my tell me about yourself. Sometimes I just go according to the feeling of the moment on what I want to say. Maybe I want to say I was born wherever I was born, but it's very important to be intentional. I love that. Jane, thanks so much for always coming through and representing the 254 in Kenya. So at least you diffused the whole Cameroonian feeling. You know, EBANGHE was also thinking I'm Cameroonian at the start of the session, and which is awesome. I love that. It means that as Africans, we really don't think about you come from this side or you come from that side, and I love that. Yes. And Emmanuel, as always, you are the SI unit of awesomeness here, from always helping us in terms of the training sessions. And now here you are dropping awesome nuggets of around interviewing and tech skills and the things that come out in terms of when you from both sides. I love the way you put it, from the employer side and even from the job seeker side. As a takeaway, I'd like every speaker to give us their parting shot so that we can wrap up the session. Obviously, me and Eric has already given us our parting shot from the SolaviseTech side. Please register for those courses. But now it's time for the way we started with our speakers. Please wrap it up. If you could put it in a very short, you know, Jen said, make it concise, make it succinct. So please live up to that by living by example and give us that kind of a succinct, starting with you, Jane, and then you go to Emmanuel, then you finish with Ebane. Over to you, Jane.
Thank you. It's been an awesome session. I would just say that there are equal opportunities for everyone. And so just wake up, dress up, and show up for your craft. Thank you.
Amazing.
All right, so it's been a pleasure being here today to share my experience regarding interview techniques. Keep applying for jobs. Don't get frustrated. Don't get tired. Your cloud is going to be full one day and you will land that great job. All the best.
Amazing. Awesome. Ebane.
I think Ebane, she dropped off for an emergency.
Oh, Ebane dropped off.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So I think with that, look forward. Next Saturday, we go back to the technical stuff. Then the other Saturday, we'll be back with the Fireside podcast session. Feel free to join us, and all the best to even our current and prospective learners coming through. Have a lovely one, and bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.